Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's the Melanin SRNA. I am back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing how my first week of CRNA school went. So if you are interested, then please keep on watching. I've already completed my first week of school. Today is currently Friday. I just wanted to take a quick little break and go ahead and discuss how I prepared, how school has went this week, and kind of tell you just a little bit about my classes. So if you did not know, obviously I'm in CRNA school. This is my second semester. I'm in my first year. So this semester I'm currently taking Principles 1, Pathophysiology for Nurse Anesthesia. I am also taking Health Assessment, Pharmacology, Writing. It's an online class, that's why I don't remember. Those are the 5 classes that I'm taking this semester. I believe it's a total of like 14 credit hours. So it's definitely a big change from the previous semester where I was only taking 7. I really don't have any complaints. So I really wanted to kind of show you, you know, like how I was preparing for school in a vlog style, but I'll go ahead and just share exactly what I did, and then I'll lead into how this week has been. Blackboard became available, I believe, a week before we started school, so I believe that Monday. I had access to all of my classes. You know, I was able to take a look at all the syllabi, the course schedule, all of the exams, and I inputted everything into the iStudies Pro apps that I have mentioned before in the past. I'll link a video up here in the cards, that way you're able to watch. But I linked everything in there, and I try to just kind of take a look to see like what I can accomplish throughout the week before school started. I had already spoken to my mentor. If you don't know, I do have a mentor in the program. She is a year ahead of me, so she's in her 2nd year, and we're all assigned, you know, an upperclassman that is in the 2nd year as a mentor. So I had already spoken to her about what to really expect out of this semester, and she basically told me to just, you know, make sure you stay on top of your studying, make sure you don't fall behind, because it's really hard to catch up because you have so much information thrown at you. That's what I really focused on the week before school, was just making sure that I was prepared for all of my classes and that I was ahead. Because honestly, in undergrad, I really didn't prepare for I didn't read my chapters before going to class. You know, I maybe have looked through the PowerPoints here and there, but I never really like felt like I needed to prepare. You know, everything was pretty much given to you when you went to class. However, I feel like it is good to prepare prior to, especially in grad school, because they expect you, they have a different expectation of you anyway. So I try to make sure that I prepared for class this semester. I believe in 2 of my classes, there were a lot of like online modules that they wanted us to complete, that, you know, you just kind of watch the video, maybe submitted a certificate, and they were due probably like later in this, like towards the beginning of the semester, like next month in September. So what I ended up doing was I just went ahead and got that out of the way. There were 2 different classes that I had to do 2 online modules for, and I just went ahead and did it. It was easy, it was something for me to watch, it didn't take any time, so I just went ahead and did that. So there were a lot of, believe in like my writing class, we have like a couple assignments that are like pass fail. Basically, if you do them, you pass. If you don't, you fail. So I just went ahead and did that as well. I heard that writing is what, you know, is very tedious. It takes up majority of your time. So I wanted to kind of get a head start on the writing portions and all the things that we had to do in writing. So a lot of the pass-fail assignments, it was like a discussion board, it was like a pre-writing assignment. I went ahead and just knocked that out. I've already completed it. Those things aren't due until like September, like the mid-September, end of September. But I wanted to go ahead and just knock that out. I find it easier just to get it done out of the way. I don't have to think about it. And then for health assessment, I found it difficult for health assessment to kind of prepare for the class because I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I do remember when I took health assessment in undergrad, I really didn't even read the chapters, to be honest. But that was one thing that I wanted to make sure I did, was read beforehand, because for example last semester he did pull some questions from the book, so I wanted to go in already being prepared to read. But just between 3 courses alone, I had about 12 chapters to read prior to. And I'm just, to be real, I was just like, I'm not reading 12 chapters. There's just no way. So, you know, I had texted my mentor and asked her, what should I absolutely read and what can I get by with? And she told me, you know, just read for your principles, read for your farm, but, you know, don't worry about health assessment. That's exactly what I did. Health assessment, going to the class really helped me determine like, okay, I can brush up a day before, kind of watch the video instead of me having to read the book. So that's something that I'm gonna be doing as well. Like I won't be reading, but I'll definitely take the day before Thursday, make sure I prepare. Pharmacology, that's another thing I got a head start on when during my week break was, let me just go ahead and start, you know, watching these videos. I did mention before, you know, I wanted to start watching the videos. So that is basically our textbook for pharmacology, is watching Nagel House lectures. I started preparing for class, watching the required videos for that class, but then I went ahead and I just continued to watch more videos and kind of just teach myself. I'm just teaching myself, and that way I'm more prepared and I get a full picture. And I just feel like when I go to class, I'm super prepared. I already know what we're going to talk about, and I feel like I'm able to participate more because I understand the material. So that's something I really have been striving to do, is with pharmacology, just really just making sure I'm ahead. So what I plan on doing is this weekend, I want to watch the rest of his videos up until our first exam, which I only have one more video to watch. And then from here on out, it's just like reviewing, and then probably later at the end of the week is when I'll start watching more videos for exam 2. So I know it doesn't make any sense, but I'm pretty much going by the course schedule and taking a big chunk of it and just watching videos up until the exam, and that way I can go back and just review the videos or review the concepts that I feel like I'm having trouble with. Pathophysiology is something that, you know, a lot of upperclassmen have said is really tough, and I can see why, because it's just so, you know, I took patho last semester, but this is more like anesthesia, nurse anesthesia, more detailed, like heavy topics, things that we need to be looking out for things that we need to think about when we have different patients that have, you know, like OSA and hypertension and heart disease. That's something that I have to kind of figure out how I want to prepare. I have been skimming through the book, and what I think I'm going to do with that class is just skim through the book, make my notes, highlight what I think is important, you know, listen to my lectures. And then when it comes to test time, I'll just kind of go through quickly with wherever I highlight and just reread those portions and kind of see how I do. I don't really know if that's going to work for me until I take the first exam, but that's kind of like my plan. And then of course pulling out key points that just jump out at me that are like, okay, this is important, let me just make sure I remember this at the back of my head. Principles of Anesthesia is basically a class where you just learn about the basics of anesthesia, the anesthesia machine, the history of CRNAs. All of the bulk of anesthesia is what we'll be learning in principles. We just went over the history of CRNA in class this week, so it's something I have to review. By far, my classes this semester, you know, I'm really just trying to make sure I stay ahead of the game, make sure I just study. I'm constantly always studying. And even though it's just like my first week, I'm also studying to be ahead. I'm studying to make sure that I understand the material, because there's just so much I have to do. And that's why, like, with like, take for example with the writing, you know, I have a 5-page paper I have to write. We have to do like an evidence table. There's a literature synthesis. Those things aren't due until, I think the table's not due until October, November. Yeah, those things are not due until October, November, but I'm trying to knock it out now because I don't want to have to be stressed when it comes around. I'm like, oh, I gotta go do this, oh, I gotta go do that. So it seems like I have a lot on my plate, and I do feel overwhelmed at times because I'm like, shit, I have so much to do. But it's really just me pushing myself to just keep going so that I have more time to dedicate to farm. I have more time to dedicate to patho, and I'm not worried about these like this little busy work. I want to just get that done out the way, which is why I'm just like, let me just get it done, let me just get it done, let me just get it done now. But that's really my reflection, my thoughts on this very first week of CRNA school. My second semester, you know, just really trying to push along, just keep pushing. Oh, and I also wanted to mention clinicals. So Thursday after class, we had our like clinical coordinator that like puts our clinical sites together, come by and kind of talk to us about clinicals. She really wanted just us to be prepared for next year because we'll be starting clinicals next fall. So she wanted to get a head start to kind of give us like the guidelines and her expectations of us. We do get a lot of vacation time during this first year. So last semester, like from summer to fall, we had about, I say 4 weeks off. And then from fall to spring, I think we have another 5 weeks off. And then from spring to summer, we only have 2 weeks off. Next summer is another tough class because it's the last class that we need to pass before we start clinical. So basically they're really just drilling us on all of the concepts and everything that we've learned over this last year, making sure that we're accurately prepared for clinicals. And then she says that we start clinicals in August, and it's really just hustle and bustle from there. We'll have clinicals from Tuesday through Saturday, and she's like, you won't have any time off. So she wanted us to be aware that like just don't plan anything. Like you're gonna be in clinicals every single day, you know, from 8 to 10 hours a day. So just prepare for that. We won't have our clinical schedule until May. For the spring semester, she'll be interviewing us individually to kind of get a feel for our personality and fit us in the best place for clinicals going forward. So definitely look forward to that. But yeah, clinicals is always like a big thing because you definitely want to know where you're going to be placed, and then you definitely want to know like how long will you be working. So I'm hoping I get a really good clinical site. So this week's CRNA question is going to be, if you give rock to a pregnant mother, will the fetus come out paralyzed? I'll answer the question in next week's video. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please click the bell notification so that you are notified every time I upload, and I will talk to you soon.